My sister said, if you won't babysit 5 kids, don't come. My parents backed her up.So I told them, then my $18,000 isn't coming to Christmas either. And just like that, my phone practically combusted. I never realized money could be turned into a weapon this fast, but, welcome to my life.My name isn't important. What I did, though? Yeah, that definitely is. This whole mess started about 3 months before Christmas. My older sister, Veronica, dropped a message into our family group chat like she was ordering takeout. Hey everyone! So excited for Christmas in Colorado this year. Quick thing, we need someone to watch the kids on Christmas Eve while Brad and I hit the slopes. Shouldn't be more than 5 or 6 hours. Thanks. 5 or 6 hours. 5 children. Let me repeat that, 5. Her kids, Mason, 11, Ruby, 9, Owen, 7, Chloe, 4, and baby Landon, who wasn't even a year old yet. Don't get me wrong, I adore them. But watching that squad is like running a small daycare, inside a live-action obstacle course, while simultaneously preventing a household explosion. I responded first. Veronica, I'm coming to relax and spend the holiday with everyone, not manage a full kindergarten class. Those 3 typing dots appeared, blinked, disappeared, reappeared. It felt like I was staring at a countdown timer to doom. Finally, she replied. Wow. Okay, I guess we know where your priorities are. Family helps family, but whatever. My eye twitched. That should have been a sign. Then my mom, Diane, jumped in like she'd been waiting backstage for her cue. Sweetheart, it's just a few hours. Veronica and Brad never get time alone together. That's when my blood pressure hit orbit. Never get time alone? They literally got back from a Napa weekend 2 weeks earlier. I know because Veronica posted 17 Instagram stories about wine flights and cheese boards. Meanwhile, I'd been working 60-hour weeks as a financial consultant, surviving on coffee and stress, and I hadn't taken a proper vacation in 8 months. I typed back. Mom, I'm taking vacation days just to be there. I'd actually like to enjoy Christmas, not spend it wiping noses and separating kids before they strangle each other. Then Dad chimed in. Roger, mediator of the century. Your sister does a lot for this family. The least you could do is help for one afternoon. A lot for this family. That line almost made me laugh out loud, in a hysterical, unhinged way. I was the one who paid for their 20th anniversary cruise. I sent money when Dad's business tanked. I covered Veronica's emergency dental bill when her insurance lapsed. But apparently none of that counted when she wanted a free babysitter. More messages. More guilt. More pressure. Then Veronica sent the one that made my jaw clench so hard I felt it in my molars. If family isn't important enough for you to spend a few hours with your nieces and nephews, maybe you shouldn't come at all. We don't need negative energy ruining Christmas. I froze. 18 years of being the dependable one, the helper, the fixer, the wallet, and this was the thanks I got? An ultimatum? My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. The old me would have caved. Apologized. Taken the kids. Swallowed my irritation with a smile. But something cracked inside me. Something loud and fed up and done. I typed. Let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You're uninviting me from Christmas because I won't provide free childcare? Veronica responded instantly, like she'd been waiting to hit send. If you're going to be selfish, then yes. This is supposed to be about family. And of course, Mom jumped in with her classic guilt trip special. Honey, just say you'll do it. Why are you making this difficult? Why was I making this difficult? The irony nearly knocked me over. My irritation turned into something colder. Sharper. I grabbed my laptop and opened a folder labeled Christmas 2024, Family Trip. Receipts. Confirmations. Credit card statements. Not metaphorical receipts. Actual, literal receipts. See, Veronica had chosen an upscale Aspen ski resort, a place called Snorridge Resort, during peak season. She had dropped the link in the group chat months earlier with a bubbly. Let's make this Christmas unforgettable. What she didn't mention was that she expected the rest of us to cover her family's costs. And like an idiot, or maybe like someone who genuinely wanted a magical family holiday, I did. I'd already paid for her cabin rental, Brad's lift tickets, ski lessons for her 3 oldest kids, and even part of their flight costs. The total? $18,247.89. Nearly $18,000, gone. Happily given. Because I thought we were all going to have this warm, beautiful, once-in-a-lifetime Christmas together. My year-end bonus had hit in October, and I figured, why not? Dad had struggled financially. Mom had been battling health issues. Veronica kept repeating how tight money was with 5 kids. I wanted to treat them. And now? Now she was holding Christmas hostage unless I agreed to be her unpaid nanny. I stared at those receipts and felt that snap again, cleaner, louder this time. If they wanted to play games, oh, I could play too. And trust me, this was only the beginning. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Veronica lit up the group chat. Since some people can't be bothered to help family, maybe we need to reconsider who's actually committed to making this Christmas happen. And that was it. The last match dropped onto the gasoline. Something inside me went cold and eerily calm. I opened my credit card portal and navigated straight to the resort's cancellation policy. 72 hours for a full refund. I still had time. My fingers moved like they already knew what they were doing. First stop, the 3-bedroom luxury cabin I'd booked for Veronica's clan at Snorridge Resort. Cancel. A confirmation email hit my inbox in under a minute. Next, the kids' ski lesson package, Mason, Ruby, and Owen. Cancel. Another confirmation. Brad's lift tickets? Cancel. The partial flight reimbursement I had promised? I drafted an email to the airline, explaining that due to unforeseen circumstances, those funds would no longer be provided. Every click, every cancellation, felt like peeling off another heavy, invisible weight I'd been hauling for years. Finally, I opened our family group chat. My hands were steady, which surprised me. I thought I'd be angry or shaky or emotional. Instead, I felt resolute. I typed, "Veronica, you've made your position clear. If I'm not welcome at Christmas unless I provide free childcare, then I'm respecting that boundary. However, since I'm apparently not attending, I've cancelled the following arrangements I paid for. The 3-bedroom cabin at Snorridge Resort, $8,900. Ski lessons for the kids, $1,850. Brad's lift tickets, $425. And I will not be providing the $7,728 toward your travel expenses. I've also cancelled my own accommodations and flights. My $18,000 apparently wasn't invited to Christmas either. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday." And before I could even blink, before guilt had a chance to creep in, I hit send. Chaos erupted instantly. Veronica called within 30 seconds. Declined. She called again. Declined. Then a text, in full, screaming caps. "What did you do?" Mom popped in next. "Please tell me you're joking. Call me right now. Dad. This is completely unacceptable behavior. Call your mother." Then Veronica created a new group chat, without me, and started tearing into our parents, because suddenly their individual messages started pouring in like a broken dam. I turned on Do Not Disturb, grabbed the biggest wine glass I owned, and filled it like I was hydrating for a marathon. The next morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls. And over 100 texts. I scrolled leisurely through them while sipping my coffee like I was reading the morning news. Veronica's messages were art. They went from enraged panic to full meltdown. Apparently she'd called the resort and learned that yes, everything had been cancelled. And worse, the cabin I booked had already been snatched by another family. Ski lessons were full with a waitlist. And Aspen during Christmas week is basically the Hunger Games of holiday travel. Her messages kept coming. "You've ruined Christmas for your nieces and nephews. How can you be so cruel? Do you know how much this is going to cost us now? We can't afford this. Mom and Dad are devastated. Hope you're happy." Mom's texts were pure emotional whiplash, some disappointed, some begging, some guilt-tripping. "Please, sweetheart. This is out of hand. Let's talk like adults. Your father and I are very upset. Family doesn't treat family this way. Think about the children." Dad's were short, sharp, and furious. "Your behavior is disgraceful. Fix this immediately. I didn't raise you to be vindictive." I took another sip of coffee and felt nothing. Not anger. Not guilt. Not sadness. Just nothing. Maybe that should have concerned me. It didn't. Around noon, my phone rang from an unknown number. Normally I'd ignore it, but curiosity won. I answered. Veronica's voice screeched through the speaker like a malfunctioning fire alarm. "Finally. Jesus Christ, do you know what you've done?" I took a slow breath. I believe I spelled it out pretty clearly yesterday. You can't just cancel everything. The kids are crying. Mason keeps asking why Aunt Sarah is mad at him. The guilt trip. The classic move. Too bad I'd built immunity overnight. "Veronica, I'm not mad at the kids. I'm disappointed that you issued an ultimatum. You told me not to come unless I babysat. I'm simply respecting what you said." "I didn't mean it like that," she snapped. "You're being ridiculous." "Really? Because the exact words you typed were, if family isn't important enough for you to spend a few hours with your nieces and nephews, maybe you shouldn't come at all." Seems pretty straightforward. "Oh my God, you're really going to throw that in my face?" I was frustrated. "So was I replied calmly. Frustrated that I'd spent over $18,000 on this trip, only to be treated like an unpaid employee instead of a family member coming to celebrate Christmas. There was a silence, tight, angry, brittle. And I had no idea then just how much fallout this decision would cause, or how far my family would go when faced with the sudden realization that I wasn't their doormat anymore. But that comes next. There was dead silence on the other end of the line. Then Veronica finally spoke, her voice flat, defensive. "You never said you were paying for all that." I let out a dark, humorless laugh. "Did you think the cabin ferries comped your Aspen accommodations? Maybe the ski lesson elves covered the kids' instructors? Veronica, come on. Brad and I assumed everyone was chipping in." "Everyone was chipping in," I snapped. "I chipped in $18,000. What exactly did you contribute?" Silence again, this time heavier, like she'd run out of excuses. "Veronica," I said quietly, "I've been paying for almost everything for your family because I wanted you guys to have a magical Christmas. But the second I set one boundary, about not wanting to wrangle 5 kids for 6 hours, you uninvited me. So, I uninvited my money. Seems fair." "But the kids," she protested. "The kids will be fine. Take them to Brad's parents like you do every other year. Or, wild idea, scale back and do something within your actual budget. Most families aren't spending Christmas in Aspen." "You're being spiteful." "I'm being consistent," I said. "You made Christmas conditional. So did I." She hung up on me. The messages didn't stop. My Aunt Patricia called next, clearly drafted into duty by my mom. "Sarah, honey, your mother is worried sick. This isn't like you." "Aunt Patricia, with all due respect, you don't know the full story. I know family forgives family. Whatever this is, I'm sure you two can work it out." "Aunt Patricia, let me ask you something. If someone gave you a very expensive gift, then demanded you repay them with hours of free labor, or they'd take the gift back, would you call that fair? Well, no, but that's what happened. I gave generously. Then I set one boundary and was told I wasn't welcome. I just followed the terms she set. She didn't have a response to that. Over the next 3 days, the pressure campaign ramped up like a military operation. Veronica posted a passive-aggressive Facebook status about family members who use money to manipulate and control others and teaching her children that love isn't transactional. The irony was so thick I could have buttered it onto toast. What made my stomach twist wasn't her post, it was watching the comments pour in from people who had no idea what actually happened. You're such a strong woman. Don't let toxic people dim your light. Your kids are learning so much about integrity. I took screenshots of everything, not as ammunition, but because I genuinely needed proof I wasn't losing my grip on reality. My best friend, Lauren, looked through them and whistled. Wow, she's really committing to the victim storyline. Apparently spending $18,000 makes me manipulative, I muttered, pouring another glass of wine. That was becoming a nightly thing. Have you thought about posting your side? She asked. Every day. But that would just light the whole family on fire. I'm tired, Lauren. I don't want a public war. She nodded sympathetically. What Lauren didn't know was that I had been documenting things for months, not intentionally at first. I'd just kept receipts, Venmo screenshots, texts from Veronica thanking me for being the best sister ever and saving Christmas, messages where she gushed about the cabin and ski lessons and how perfect everything was going to be. Looking at those messages now made my stomach churn. The cognitive dissonance was unreal. Then my cousin Jennifer texted. Aunt Diane is telling everyone you had a breakdown and that's why you're acting like this. Just FYI. Of course. Perfect. Now I was suffering a mental health crisis because I wouldn't be their doormat. I texted back, let her think what she wants. The truth will come out eventually. But it bothered me more than I wanted to admit. So I scheduled an emergency session with my therapist, Dr. Morrison. The moment I logged onto our video call, she sighed. Sarah, you look exhausted. I feel like I'm being gaslit by my entire family, I blurted. They're acting like I went off the deep end for withdrawing financial support after being uninvited from Christmas. Walk me through what you're feeling, she said gently. Angry, hurt, guilty, even though I know I shouldn't be. I keep second-guessing myself. Maybe I should have just babysat. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe... Stop, she interrupted softly. Let's reframe. Did Veronica give you an ultimatum? Yes. Did you clearly communicate that her ultimatum was unacceptable? Yes. Did she apologize or make any attempt to repair things before you canceled the arrangements? I paused. No. She doubled down. She called me selfish and accused me of making everything difficult. Dr. Morrison nodded. So you set a consequence for behavior that crossed your boundaries. That's healthy, Sarah. That's exactly what we've been working toward. Then why, I whispered, do I feel like the villain in everyone's story? She leaned closer to the camera, her voice calm and firm. Because your family has conditioned you for years to believe that saying no makes you a bad person. You have been the fixer, the helper, the responsible one. The moment you stopped playing that role, they panicked. It's not about the babysitting. It's not even about the money. It's about control. Her words hit me like a punch I didn't see coming. You think they're trying to control me? I think, she said gently, they're used to you being compliant. And when you weren't, they used guilt, shame, and family pressure to push you back into place. But you didn't break. You held your boundary. That's huge, Sarah. She paused, letting the moment sink in. And it scares them. Her words echoed long after the call ended, because deep down, I knew she was right. And my family was about to prove it. After my session with Dr. Morrison, I felt a little steadier, like someone had handed me a flashlight in a very dark room. But the family pressure? Oh, that didn't stop. Not even close. My Aunt Patricia apparently decided to run a full-blown phone tree, like we were organizing a search party. Suddenly every relative I hadn't spoken to since high school graduation had deep, emotional concerns about family unity and healing wounds. My phone rang at all hours. Midday. Midnight. Dawn. It didn't matter, someone always had a moral lesson ready. The only person who didn't jump into the mob was my Uncle Keith. He called me directly, voice low and irritated. Your mom's been working the phones like a campaign manager, he said. Thought you should know. What's she saying now? That you're being stubborn and prideful, that Veronica's kids are suffering because of your selfishness, that Christmas is ruined and it's all your fault. He paused. She's not mentioning the 18 grand bill, though. Of course. Selective storytelling at its finest. Yeah, I muttered, that part would make me look reasonable. For what it's worth, Sarah, he said, you did the right thing. Veronica's been coddled since she came out of the womb. Maybe this is the wake-up call she needs. I sighed. Everyone keeps acting like I'm teaching her a lesson. I'm not trying to teach anyone anything. I just didn't want to be voluntold into working childcare on my own holiday. I know, kiddo, he said warmly. But sometimes the lessons we never set out to teach are the ones people need most. After we hung up, I just sat there for a minute, then opened my laptop. I needed to see things clearly, not how my family said they happened, but how they actually did. So I started writing. And writing. And writing. The document grew to 15 pages, a timeline of 5 years' worth of financial help, emotional labor, rearranged schedules, favors, guilt trips, and obligations. Every entry was like a puzzle piece falling into place. There it was. $3,200 for Veronica's dental work. $6,500 for mom and dad's anniversary cruise. $1,350 for Veronica's car payments when Brad was unemployed. $2,100 for Christmas gifts last year. $4,800 for dad's lapsed business insurance. Plus the current Aspen fiasco, $18,247.89. In total, just over $36,000. More than half of it in the last 3 years alone. And that didn't include the smaller stuff, dinners, birthdays, gas money, groceries, spontaneous, can you help us this month, moments. Seeing it all in black and white made something twist in my stomach. I had been funding my family's lifestyle, and I hadn't even realized the scale of it. The document just sat there on my screen, thorough, damning, undeniable. I didn't know what to do with it. If I showed it to my family, it'd be like tossing a grenade into an oil fire. But keeping it to myself meant letting them keep painting me as the villain. That afternoon at work, my colleague Michelle shot me a look during a meeting. Afterward, she cornered me at lunch. You okay? You look like you're somewhere else entirely. I gave her the short version, very short, but even that made her eyes go wide. Sarah, she said slowly, that's financial abuse. What? No, they're my family. They don't. Yes, she cut in, they do. They take advantage of you repeatedly. And the moment you stopped being the ATM/babysitter, they punished you. That's manipulation. Then she pulled out her phone and showed me an article about dysfunctional financial dynamics in families. Read this tonight. I think you're going to see some familiar patterns. I read that article. Then 3 more. Then an entire book about family systems, enmeshment, overfunctioning, emotional roles within families, all of it. And every page felt like someone had secretly been documenting my life. The overfunctioner. The rescuer. The responsible one who absorbs everyone else's consequences. The guilt. The obligation. The unspoken expectation that I would fix everything. By the time I closed the book, I felt sick to my stomach. Had I created this dynamic by never saying no? By always stepping in? By cushioning every mistake? Had I trained my family to rely on me to the point they believed my boundaries were cruelty? Dr. Morrison had been trying to tell me this for months, but now I finally understood. My phone rang. Mom again. Normally I'd ignore it. But something in me, maybe the part that still hoped for fairness, made me answer. Sarah, honey, please, she began immediately. Veronica is beside herself. She's talking about canceling Christmas altogether. The kids are so confused. Mom, I said slowly, has Veronica told you what she actually said to me? She said you had a disagreement about babysitting. A disagreement? I repeated. Mom, she told me not to come to Christmas unless I agreed to watch 5 kids for 6 hours. That's not a disagreement, that's an ultimatum. She was stressed, Mom insisted. You know how hard it is with 5 children. I do know. That's exactly why I didn't want to spend my vacation doing unpaid childcare. I wanted to relax and be with family. Is that really unreasonable? Silence. Then, well, you could have just said yes. There it was. The family motto. Why is me saying yes more important than Veronica respecting my boundaries? I asked. Why is her comfort more important than my autonomy? Because that's what family does, she said softly. We sacrifice for each other. Mom, I said, voice shaking, I have been sacrificing for years. Tens of thousands of dollars. Rearranged plans. Unending support. I am allowed to say no sometimes. That does not make me a bad person. Nobody's calling you a bad person. Really? I said sharply. Aunt Patricia told me I was cruel. Dad called me disgraceful. Veronica said I'm manipulative. She posted about me on Facebook. That sounds a lot like calling me a bad person. Mom went quiet. Then in a hushed voice, she said, You spent $18,000? Finally. The truth cracked through. Yes, I said. I paid for Veronica's cabin. The kids' ski lessons. Brad's lift tickets. And I was going to help with their flights. I did it because I wanted us to have a special Christmas together. I didn't know, she whispered. Veronica said you helped with some of the costs, but not that. Well, now you do. And after spending that much, being told I wasn't welcome unless I provided free labor? It felt like a slap in the face. So I canceled everything. And I honestly don't think that's unreasonable. There was a long, heavy pause. Then Mom said softly, I need to talk to your father. Okay, Sarah. I'm sorry we didn't ask more questions. We should have. It wasn't a full apology. But it was something. A faint crack in the wall. A small shift in a very old pattern. And I had no idea at the time how much bigger that shift would become, or what it would unearth. After I hung up with Mom, I felt, not good, exactly, but less like I was losing my mind. A few mutual friends reached out, they'd seen Veronica's dramatic Facebook post. Once they heard the actual story, most of them reacted the same way my best friend Lauren did. Holy hell, Sarah. You spent 18 grand on that trip, and she demanded you babysit or stay home. Is she delusional? I didn't disagree. But the family pressure didn't let up. Not even a little. The call that broke me a little. My grandmother called. And somehow that hurt more than any other message. Her voice was soft and trembling. Sweet girl, I just don't understand what happened. Can't you and Veronica work this out? It's Christmas. I closed my eyes. Grandma. I tried. I really did. I said I wanted to come and spend time with the family. I just didn't want to babysit. Veronica said if I wouldn't babysit, I shouldn't come. I'm just respecting her wishes. But she didn't mean it. Then she should tell me that. She should apologize for giving ultimatums, not have her friends message me about how awful I am. Grandma sighed. You young people and your pride. In my day, people forgave each other. In your day, I said gently, were people telling you couldn't come to Christmas unless you worked free childcare? She had no answer. The guilt storm intensifies. About a week after the explosion, Mom called again, this time crying. Your father and I don't know what to do, she sobbed. Christmas is ruined. Veronica can't afford anything now, and she's too embarrassed to come here. We're going to be alone because our daughters can't get along. The guilt hit me hard, like a wave I'd been bracing for but wasn't ready to drown in. But I forced myself to stay steady. Mom, I said quietly, I love you. But this is not my fault. I set a reasonable boundary, and Veronica responded by uninviting me. If she had simply said, okay, we'll find another babysitter, none of this would have happened. But you cancelled everything. That was extreme. Was it? I asked. She uninvited me. Why would I keep paying for a trip I'm not invited to? You know she didn't mean it. Then she should have said so immediately. Instead, she doubled down and called me selfish. I took a breath. Mom, I'm allowed to take a vacation without being put to work. That's literally the definition of vacation. You're being stubborn. Maybe, I said. But I'm being consistent. If Veronica apologizes and admits she was wrong to issue an ultimatum, I'll consider talking. But until that happens, I'm spending Christmas at a spa resort in Arizona. I already booked it. Mom gasped. You're going on vacation by yourself while your family falls apart? I'm going on the vacation I already planned to take, I replied calmly. Just somewhere I'm actually wanted. The silence that followed felt like a door closing. Finally, in a small, strained voice, she whispered, I don't know who you are right now. I swallowed hard. I'm someone who finally learned that generosity doesn't mean being a doormat. I love you, Mom. Merry Christmas. I hung up before she could gather her counterattack. The unexpected call from Brad. Almost a week before Christmas, Brad called me. This shocked me more than everything else combined. Brad avoids family drama the way cats avoid vacuum cleaners. Sarah, he began, look, I'm not taking sides, but Veronica is miserable. The kids keep asking about Colorado. Can we please figure something out? Brad, I appreciate you calling, I said. But Veronica needs to understand that she can't demand things from people and then explode when they say no. I was excited about this trip. I paid for it. I planned for it. But being told I'm not welcome unless I babysit crossed a line. She was stressed. 5 kids is a lot. Believe me, I said with a tired laugh, I know. That's why I didn't want to spend my vacation chasing them across a resort. It wouldn't have been that bad. Brad, I said, counting on my fingers, your 10-month-old requires full attention. Your 3-year-old is potty training. Your 6-year-old never sits still. Your 9-year-old argues like it's an Olympic sport. And your 11-year-old would be glued to his tablet, ignoring me completely. It would have been a nightmare. There was a pause. Okay, he admitted. That's fair. But couldn't you have said no without canceling everything? I did say no, I reminded him. And Veronica uninvited me. At that point, why would I pay for her vacation? Well, because it was a gift. Brad, I said gently, gifts don't come with conditions. The second she made my attendance conditional on babysitting, it stopped being a gift and became a transaction. Jesus, Sarah, he muttered, you've really thought this through. You've had 3 weeks and several hundred angry messages to think about it, I said. Yes, I've thought this through. He let out a long breath. For what it's worth. I told Veronica she shouldn't have sent that message. But she's proud. She's not going to apologize. Then she's going to stay uninvited from Christmas, I said firmly. Those are her choices. You're both being stubborn. Maybe, I said softly, but only one of us issued an ultimatum. There was nothing left to say after that. Brad hung up. And then? Silence. 4 days. The first real silence I'd had since this whole thing exploded. I had no idea what they were planning next. But I had a gut feeling the storm wasn't over. The silence was unnerving. It was almost worse than the non-stop buzzing and guilt-soaked voicemails. At least outrage had noise. This quiet felt like the moment right before a bridge collapses. I kept checking my phone anyway, waiting for the next emotional grenade. Nothing. Just stillness. It felt like standing in the center of a hurricane while everything swirled around me. So, I did something I hadn't done in years, maybe ever. I started thinking about what I wanted. Not what my family needed. Not what Veronica expected. Not what would keep the peace. Just, what would make me happy. And the realization hit me hard. I had absolutely no idea. The strain begins to show. My work had been suffering, badly. Meetings? I was half present. Client calls? Short-tempered. Presentations? Sloppy. Not like me at all. Eventually my boss, Catherine, called me into her office. Sarah, she said, folding her hands, you're one of the best consultants here. But the past month, you're not yourself. Is everything okay? Normally, I'd plaster on a smile and say I was fine. But I was too tired to lie. It's family stuff, I said. It's been complicated. Her expression softened. Do you need some time off? We can redistribute your accounts. I'm already taking Christmas week off, I told her. I think that'll help. She studied me, almost like she could see the exhaustion radiating off my skin. You know, she said, I've been here 20 years. The people who burn out aren't the ones who take too many vacations. They're the ones who never say no. Not to work. Not to family. Not to anyone. They give until there's nothing left. Her words struck something deep. Because I'd heard something similar from Dr. Morrison. And now Catherine too? How many people had seen what I couldn't? I'm working on that, I whispered. Good, she said firmly. Because you're too valuable to lose to burnout. Take your vacation. Turn off your phone. Let your family deal with their own problems for once. For once. 2 words that made my chest ache. Choosing myself felt illegal. I walked out of Catherine's office and did something impulsive. I called the resort in Sedona and upgraded my room to a suite. Booked extra spa appointments. Reserved a table at the most expensive restaurant in town, the kind where the menus don't have prices because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. If I was going to be the villain in my family's narrative, I might as well enjoy the perks. But then, guilt tried creeping in. That money could help Veronica. That money could go to the kids. That money could. I shut the thoughts down. I'd already given her $18,000. Before that, thousands more. I'd postponed vacations, skipped opportunities, lived in a cheaper apartment because I always diverted money to them. When was it enough? When was I allowed to choose myself? My younger self would have been horrified by these thoughts. I'd been raised to believe. Family comes first. Selfishness is the ultimate sin. Love equals sacrifice. Sacrifice equals saying yes. But over time, that belief system had morphed into something twisted. Something that turned me into an ATM with legs. I started cataloging all the times I'd said yes even when I wanted to scream no. Paying for the family reunion while saving for a house. Skipping a major work trip because Veronica really needed me to babysit. Losing a client because of it. Picking up countless dinner tabs because everyone forgot their wallets. Letting my own needs get buried under their expectations. The resentment bubbled up, hot, acidic, undeniable. I hadn't just let myself become a doormat. I had trained them to wipe their feet on me. The realization was equal parts freeing and devastating. The late night call that broke me open. I called Lauren that night. She answered immediately. You sound weird, she said. Talk to me. I said slowly, I've spent my entire adult life enabling my family's dysfunction. Congratulations, she said dryly. You've reached the acceptance stage of grief. Lauren, I'm serious. I know. Her voice softened. Go on. I've given them over $36,000 in 3 years. Rearranged my life. Made myself small so they could feel big. And the moment I set a boundary, they attacked. I've watched it happen for years, she admitted. I tried to point it out, but you always defended them. Why didn't you push harder? Because you weren't ready. You had to get here on your own. Her honesty cracked something open in me. Do you think I'm a bad person for canceling the trip? I whispered. No, she said firmly. I think you're finally valuing yourself. It's about damn time. Everyone else thinks I'm terrible. Everyone else, she said, has been benefiting from you being a pushover. Of course they're mad. You changed the rules. I don't want to be estranged from my family. Then they need to meet you halfway. Real relationships are bidirectional, Sarah. You've been giving for years. It's their turn. After we hung up, I sat in the dark and cried. Not because I was sad. Not even because of the fight. I cried from exhaustion. From carrying everyone else's burdens for so long. From the fear of what comes next. From the possibility that my family might never change. From the even scarier possibility that I might lose them for good. But the truth settled in my chest like a stone. No matter what happened. No matter who stayed or who didn't. I couldn't go back to the way things were. Even if it meant losing them, I couldn't sacrifice myself anymore. 2 days before my flight to Sedona, I opened my front door and found a small cardboard package on the mat. No return address. No note. Inside was a single sheet of paper, a children's drawing. Crayon figures. Stick arms. Bright colors. Mason had drawn our family gathered around a Christmas tree. Mom. Dad. Veronica. Brad. His siblings. And then, me. I was drawn far off to the side, separated from everyone by a huge empty gap. Underneath, in shaky handwriting. Aunt Sarah, please come back. I miss you. I didn't even make it to my couch. I slid down right there in my entryway and sobbed. This was the cruelty of the entire situation. The kids didn't understand boundaries or manipulation or financial abuse. They didn't see the power struggle or the years of imbalance. They just knew their aunt wasn't coming to Christmas. And they were sad. A huge part of me wanted to grab my keys, drive to Veronica's house, throw myself on the doorstep, and fix everything. But I stopped myself. If I caved now, what would I be teaching Mason? That grown-ups should erase their boundaries to avoid upsetting people? That love means saying yes even when it hurts you? No. If anything, I was modeling something healthier. You can love people and still say no. You can care about family and still protect yourself. Respect has to go both ways. I took a picture of the drawing and sent it to Dr. Morrison with a text. This is harder than I thought. She replied almost instantly. Of course it is. Growth always hurts. But you're doing the right thing. Trust the process. Christmas in Sedona. I packed for Sedona with a hollow ache in my chest, but also a strange determination I'd never felt before. Christmas Eve, I found myself at a luxury spa in the desert, lying face down on a massage table while a therapist worked a knot out of my shoulder that's probably been there since 2018. I sipped cucumber water, breathing in eucalyptus and silence. My phone was on Do Not Disturb, the digital equivalent of locking the door. Before turning it off, I'd sent Mom and Dad simple, neutral messages. Merry Christmas. Love you both. Talk soon. No drama. No arguing. Just boundaries. Somewhere between the hot stones and the lavender steam room, the tension in my body melted enough for me to realize. I felt lighter than I had in years. No last-minute requests. No demands. No guilt. No being shoved into the responsible one role like it was the only part of my personality. Just, peace. I could almost hear Dr. Morrison's voice. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you reinforce the belief that your needs don't matter. And for the first time, my needs weren't at the bottom of the list. Christmas morning, the inbox apocalypse. The next day, I finally turned my phone back on. 300 plus messages. I almost powered it off again, but curiosity won. Most were the same recycled guilt trips. You ruined Christmas. How could you do this? Your poor sister. Your poor parents. Nobody does this to family. But then, hidden among the nonsense were a few surprises. My cousin Jennifer. I heard the real story. Good for you. Veronica's been entitled forever. Uncle Keith. Your mom asked me to talk sense into you, but honestly, you're right. Don't let them guilt you. And finally, Brad. Merry Christmas, Sarah. I wish you were here. The kids miss you. Veronica does too, even if she won't admit it. That one hit harder than I expected. My Christmas, the peaceful version. I spent the rest of the day hiking through red rocks, surrounded by sunlight and desert air. I ate a 5-course dinner at the resort restaurant, the kind of meal where the server explains each dish like a museum curator. Lauren video called me halfway through, drinking wine at her own chaotic family gathering. You're my hero, she slurred. I've hosted 5 Christmases in a row because my brother guilt trips me. Next year I'm saying no. You've inspired me. Say no now, I told her. Trust me, it gets easier. We laughed, and for the first time in weeks, I felt, okay. The post-Christmas confrontation. The week after Christmas, my parents called, together. That alone made my stomach drop. Mom started softly. Sarah, honey, we need to talk about what happened. Okay. We think, she continued, that you owe your sister an apology. I closed my eyes. Here we go. Do you also think, I asked evenly, that she owes me one? Dad jumped in. She was stressed. She didn't mean what she said. You took things too far, canceling everything. Dad, I said, keeping my voice calm, she uninvited me from Christmas. How is respecting her wishes taking things too far? You know what she meant. No, I said. Her words were extremely clear. If I wouldn't babysit, I shouldn't come. So I didn't come. And I didn't fund a trip I wasn't invited to. That's logic. Mom cut in. But it was spiteful. You knew she couldn't afford Aspen on her own. Then maybe, I said slowly, she shouldn't have bitten a hand that was literally feeding her entire holiday. Money isn't everything, Sarah, Mom whispered. You're right. But apparently 6 hours of babysitting is worth more than $18,000, and my presence, according to Veronica. That's her valuation. Not mine. Silence. Finally Dad said, we raised you better than this. I felt something inside me snap into place, not anger, but clarity. You raised me to stand up for myself, I said quietly. You raised me to not let people take advantage of me. That's exactly what I'm doing. You're twisting things. I'm really not. Look, I love you. I love Veronica. I love the kids. But I'm not apologizing for having a boundary. If Veronica wants to talk, I'm open to it. But it needs to be a real conversation, not guilt or manipulation. Mom's voice softened. She's your sister. I know, I whispered. And I miss her. But she's the one who made Christmas conditional. I just took her at her word. The call ended with no agreement, no resolution, no understanding. Just more silence. But this time, it didn't scare me. This time, it felt like something necessary. The cost of finally choosing myself, New Year's came and went in a blur of champagne, noise, and people who thought my Christmas rebellion was equal parts iconic and overdue. For the first time in months, I was surrounded by people who didn't make me feel like a monster for having boundaries. People who laughed, high-fived me, and said things like, honestly, you should have done it years ago. Or, 18 grand? Girl, I would have set the house on fire. It felt good, grounding, even, to be around people who saw my choice as reasonable instead of treacherous. But when I got home that night, a little tipsy and a lot lighter, my phone buzzed. A text from Veronica. We need to talk. My heart rate spiked instantly. I typed back, okay. When? Now. Can you call me? I sat on my couch, took a slow breath, and hit call. She answered on the first ring. Hey, she said. Hey, I whispered back. Silence. Long, heavy, loaded silence. Then finally she spoke. Veronica's confession. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, she said. And I talked to Brad. And my therapist. I blinked. Your therapist? Yeah. I've been seeing someone for a few months. Started in November. Postpartum depression after Landon, it never really went away. I just tried to push through it. And it's been rough. Just like that, some of my anger unraveled. I didn't know, I said gently. I didn't tell anyone, she whispered. I was embarrassed. Another pause. My therapist said I've been using the kids as a shield. An excuse not to deal with my own mess. And that I've been taking advantage of you for years. I didn't even know how to respond. Hearing her say the words out loud hit harder than I expected. She's right, Veronica continued. You've always been the one who bailed me out. The dental bill. The anniversary cruise for Mom and Dad. This whole Christmas trip. You never asked for anything. And I just kept taking. And when you finally set a boundary, I completely lost it. Veronica. No. Let me finish. Her voice cracked. I was drowning. Money's tight. Brad's job is unstable. The kids are constant chaos. And when you said you didn't want to babysit, it felt like you didn't care. Like you were abandoning me when I needed help. She swallowed hard. And I know that's not fair. I know that now. You were taking a vacation. A real break. You deserved that. It wasn't your job to fix things for me. Tears blurred my vision. Ronnie, I do love you. I've always loved you. I know, she whispered. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You should have been welcomed at Christmas no matter what. I should have never made it conditional. I was wrong. Thank you, I said, voice breaking. I mean it. And I told Mom and Dad everything. How much you spent. What you've covered over the years. All of it. Dad felt awful. Mom cried for an hour. I didn't want to cause. This isn't your fault, she interrupted steadily. It's mine. My words. My actions. My entitlement. Not yours. She took a shaky breath. I don't expect forgiveness right away. I know I hurt you. But I want to fix this, if you'll let me. I wiped tears from my cheeks. I miss you. I miss you too. The kids ask about you constantly. Mason wrote you a letter apologizing for making you mad. It's heartbreaking. I was never mad at them, I whispered. I told them. They don't understand adult drama, thank God. And then, for the first time in months, we really talked. Two sisters, finally honest. We talked about her depression. About my resentment. About how our family had cast me as the responsible one and her as the one who always needed saving. We admitted things we'd both been too afraid to say. She felt like she could never measure up. I felt like my worth was tied to how useful I was. She leaned on me because she assumed I could handle everything. I said yes because I was terrified of disappointing anyone. It was raw, painful, necessary. By the end, we agreed on something we should have done years ago. Family therapy. Both of us. Together. We needed to learn actual communication. Real reciprocity. Healthy boundaries, the kind that didn't involve ultimatums or guilt. Before we hung up, Veronica said, for what it's worth. Brad said you were right about the babysitting thing. 5 kids for 6 hours? Total disaster. He apologized for not standing up for you. I snorted through clogged sinuses. Brad's a good guy. He is. He's also terrified of you now. He said you're scarier than he realized when you're pushed. Good, I said. Maybe that means you'll hire an actual babysitter next time. Oh, we already did, she said. We found a ski resort childcare service. It's expensive as hell, but apparently that's normal. Who knew? Literally everyone who's ever had children, I deadpanned. She laughed, a real laugh, and I felt something loosen inside me. We didn't fix everything. But something shifted. For the first time, it felt possible. The aftermath. A few days later, Mom and Dad apologized. Mom crying. Dad reluctantly but sincerely. The extended family backed off once the real story spread. But the biggest change wasn't them. It was me. I learned something I should have learned decades ago. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. And the people who truly love you? They'll adjust. Even if it takes time. Veronica and I rescheduled Christmas for March. Just immediate family. No Aspen. No ski trips. No 5-star resort. Just Mom's living room, takeout dinner, and the kids running around. I'm bringing wine and dessert. Veronica's bringing the kids, and hopefully a new understanding of the word no. And if anyone hints at babysitting, I'll smile sweetly and say, I hear the ski resort childcare service is excellent. My $18,000, meanwhile, is resting safely in my savings account, growing, accumulating, reminding me daily. Generosity is beautiful. But it should never be required. And it should never come with strings attached, from either direction. Sometimes, the hardest, bravest, most important gift you can give someone is the truth.